This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Grand Rising family, what's happening? Let's get it in. Again, we're talking about one. And the word one. What's that all about, right? As I said before, we got to find new, interesting, brain-tickling ways to get our people to understand what's going on so that they can have the mindset, right, to confront their enemies of the past in the future, right? At the present, we must restructure our minds and teach in a new way. I remember I said on the video, as the song goes, tell all the teachers, it's time to teach a new way. So let's get it in. We're dealing with the number one, right? And as we said before, that the number one is one word, 3 letters with 7 segments, right? We have the number one. This is not a segment, right? This is a 0 point, right? 0.0, right? We're talking about that universal thing. So the segment starts here. 1, 2, 3, right? We have the number 3. The segment 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have the number 4. We came to the number 34 not only by identifying the segments, but taking the numbers that are merged with the letters and adding them up. O is a 15, N is a 14, and E is a 5, bringing us to a total of 34. But the answer was already there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Right? So it's 7 segments, one word with 3 letters. That brings us to 1 over 137. The electric magnetic force, right? That symbol. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 symbols, which are the 4 known forces, right, that are impact and affect the universe, right? We're talking about the fine structure constant. We're talking about that which governs the shared energy between the photon and the electron, right? It's shared energy, right? One of the things that is affecting us is that we don't like to share information. But what we find out that in this mathematical process, it's all about sharing energy, right? Because as we said before, this is about the building blocks of life. DNA has to have power, right? So that man can have power. Therefore, the power must come from the photon energy shared, right? So we know that the number 1 over 137 is the number for the fine structure constant, right? Again, we have those 2 P's, right? That was for purines in the DNA and pyrimidines in the DNA. But here it's about the photon and the proton. That shared energy, right? That constant wavelength of energy that is being expressed throughout the universe, right? So do your due diligence, right, on the photon energy that's shared, right, between the electron and the photon, right? The electron and the photon. This is all talking about the building blocks of life, the components, the modalities, and the nuances of what's taking place in our universe. And we're just talking about the number 1. This photon is light energy, right? We all identify that the sun, right? The sun is an active force in the life or the vitals of life that we're talking about. Even down to the chlorophyll, my man. We know that chlorophyll, right, is the vortex through which plants on our planet, right, receive their pigmentation and receive their food, right? Their food, the proton, right, is extracted by way of the chlorophyll, right? And if you do your due diligence, since we're talking about the number 137, I wonder, because of this shared energy, right, that is happening above and all around us, and is also taking a place right down here with us in the plant life, I wonder how many atoms it takes to make up chlorophyll. We're talking about the number 1, right? 1 word, 3 letters, and 7 segments, right? Again, if we wanted to send a signal out in the universe to detect if there was some type of intelligent life, what number would we send out into the universe to detect if there was some intelligent life? It would be the number for the fine structured constant. Somebody knows that if you understand this, that you understand something about the universe, and you understand something about where you came from and what maintains the energy force that's being shared so that you can live, right? We found the number 137 in the DNA. We found it here in the fine structure constant, right? And we also now find it in the chlorophyll, right? The chlorophyll is light reactive, right? It appears that the photon and the proton is being affected by the photon, right? The photon is governing, right, the force of energy between the bond of the electron, right, and the photon that is dispersing energy throughout the universe in a fine structured constant, right? So that we can express ourselves and animate ourselves in this life that we have, right? This is another New Black World Order TV Productions educational video. Again, I'm trying to get us to see information that's hidden right in plain sight, right? We have identified the number 137 with the DNA coding. We have identified the number 137 with the electromagnetic force, right? The photon shared energy, right? In this universe, this symbol here equals the fine structure constant, right? Which is the number 1 over 137. It's written like this: 1, right? 137. To this date, right? And we have to constantly watch this and for developments of new information and new data that's being shared, right, from the photon energy, right? Again, my people, we have to upgrade our minds. We have to find new ways to educate our people. That's fun, that's interesting, and that gives us those wow moments so we can release that pleasure thing in our mind that makes us return right back to that type of education, right? Enough of the entertainment with knowledge, because knowledge, it should be fun, but it shouldn't jump out the window into deep entertainment where you lose the point of being educated, right? So again, we're talking about the number 1. The number 1, right? 1 word, 3 letters with 7 segments. Again, when we write out this 1, 2, 3, right? It's 3 segments in the number 1. 1, 2, that make 5, 6, 7. Right there, 7 segments. The number 1, right? And we're talking about that energy, right? We're talking about that point of reference, right? The fine structure constant, right? Do your due diligence on this, right? Go through my videos. I make my videos short because really it's packed with information. And I'm demonstrating it that it's packed with information. There's more here than meets the eye. I just left some things out. It's more here than meets the eye, right? Look into this. Pour through this, right? Pour through this and you can see that there's more information here. I don't really want to talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours if you're not extracting the information, the potent information that's hidden right in plain sight in these short videos.